What's up guys, and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So the first ever Pittsburgh Pro Prejudging is on the way. And the men's open guys, they are up on that stage for the first ever Pittsburgh Pro. And let's dive right into it. So what's the first impression about the reigning Arnold champion Lunsford, who was in that second group of guys? Well, his conditioning, I'm gonna say, is absolutely spot on. But the legs on the first glance, they appear to be a bit downsized, especially if we compare that to his Arnold Ohio look. But it could also be the live stream, or because of that angle, because the pictures that the RX Muscle posted on their IG page, his legs were looking awesome from that angle. Now you have got to feel bad for a guy like Michael Krizo, that he had to stand next to Derek in that initial call out, and he had to hit that back double biceps, standing next to a guy who has the best back double biceps in the world right now. And his back again looks simply out of this world. The proportions on Derek, they are so goddamn crazy. And nobody is wider than Derek, shoulder to shoulder, especially from the back. And when you take account of his entire X-frame. So what about the mutant's first impression? Well, what he said, that he's coming to win. He wasn't messing around. I think this might be one of Nick Walker's best shape ever. The legs look a little bigger from the front. The quad turns were super impressive. And he had superb control over his stomach, something that was missing the last time Nick Walker was on the stage, which was at the New York Pro last year. So he did the two most important things that he was told to do. Bring up his quads from the front and bring down that waistline, or at the very least, control his waistline. So this is gonna be very fun to watch for all of us bodybuilding fans, to how Nick Walker changes as the show goes on and how he compares with guys like Derek and Martin. And I'm gonna go as far as saying this, he's definitely in the fight for the top spot here at the first ever Pittsburgh Pro. And that is as expected. So the size and the freak factor that Nick Walker brought here, that is gonna be extremely hard to ignore. And that is gonna be his calling card. The man looks so goddamn massive, especially in the upper half. He looks bigger than both Derek and Martin. And the man is hard as nails. Now let's talk about Martin-Fitzwater. So first of all, the legs, they definitely look bigger than Derek, from the front as well as from the back. So did Martin really put on 10 pounds of muscle on his frame since the Olympia last year? Well, if anything, most of that added muscle that went right into his legs, because his legs are looking so goddamn huge. Don't get me wrong, his upper body also looks amazing tonight, but the legs are simply out of this world. So Martin is a guy who is gonna get a lot harder, and his muscularity, that is gonna improve as the show goes on. The detail in the chest, when he hits that crab most muscular, that is simply crazy. Now let's talk about the first impression from Michael Krizo. Crazy condition all around, which has always been his trademark for so many years now. But the man just doesn't have the aesthetics to battle it out with the potential top 3 in the world. Still very impressive showing by Michael Krizo here, possibly his best ever. Especially considering the fact that this is his first show back after that shoulder injury, and the man looked absolutely awesome. And how can we forget about the conqueror, William Barnack, who once again brought amazing conditioning, and he was spot on one more time. And he's definitely gonna be in the mix in that first call out. So let's talk about that first call out. We have Derek, Martin, Nick Walker, William Barnack, Michael Krizo, and Leandro Perez, that guy who just went toe-to-toe with good Vito at the Arnold Brazil. So let's talk about the first call out. And Nick Walker immediately put in the middle in that 6-man first call out, and he got compared to Derek Lunsford. Now I'm gonna say Derek's physique, that is simply beautiful, so aesthetic, so beautifully put together. But Nick was just so gigantic that the eyes just kept going back towards Nick. And I think he compared extremely well against a guy like Derek in both the back shots too. In fact, his lower half, that was, I'm gonna say, even better than Derek. Especially that was the case from the live stream. And Derek's legs, they look a bit downsized compared to how he looked at this past Arnold. Now you have got to give the credit to the mutant Nick Walker here. I mean, that abs and thigh on Nick, that looks so goddamn impressive and so amazing, absolutely bonkers. Even standing next to a guy like Derek. Now it was a tricky point when the judges put Derek in the middle with Nick and Martin on either sides. And you can just tell both these guys, They have bigger legs than the reigning Arnold champion. And I'm gonna say, man, Martin looks like a totally different bodybuilder compared to what he looked like at the Olympia last year. I want to point out the size difference of the hamstrings between Derek and the other two guys, both Martin and Nick. They kind of exposed him in that area. Now Derek still wins the back double biceps, but you have got to point out the weaknesses as well. And yes, I'm implying that Martin decided to come in a little too full here. Plus, his color and the tan, that is kinda off. Now the man looks so goddamn huge on every level, though I do believe his front lat spread, that was the best out of all of these three guys. Plus, that crab was muscular. That is so amazing. And I'm gonna say William Bonac also looked amazing in that first call out. And kind of too bad for a guy like Michael Crizzle. That, his comeback show, that is in a lineup that is simply too damn deep. Now let's take a look at the final four-man call out. Derek, Nick, Martin and William Bonac. So Bonac once again, proving that the man is a veteran of the game. The man looked so goddamn incredible at the age of 42. Still killing it. Still beating so many of these young guys. So that final call out. Is the mutant Nick Fokker about to shock the entire bodybuilding world? Man, I'm excited. The task was to come in so big and so goddamn freaky that the eyes do not go towards either Martin or Derek. The prettier physiques, the aesthetic physiques. And I'm gonna say the man has done exactly that. That job is successfully done by the mutant here. And man, Derek's legs, they did not look much balanced compared to his upper body here. Especially standing next to a guy like Nick, who looked absolutely humongous. And secondly, the doubts were kind of true, that this isn't as crispy version of Derek Lunsford as we just saw back at the Arnold. Yes, he's better than the Olympia last year, but not as impressive as he was at the Arnold. He's somewhere in the middle. And I will go as far as saying this, that even Derek's back, that wasn't a showstopper the way it was for him at this past Arnold. His legs from the back just did not look as big and as round as Nick or Martin. And I must say, if Martin was Olympia level peeled, with this kind of size, I'm gonna say holy shit, he could have won this show. He would have been a lot more dangerous in this lineup. So this was Derek's show to win. But after the prejudging, I personally have Nick Walker winning this thing. For me, he's in first place, Derek in second, and Martin in third. Now Michael Crizzle and Leandro Perez, they were compared in another separate call out. So they are fighting for that 5th place spot. Huge props to Leandro Perez for showing up much better compared to the Arnold Brazil and showing up a lot more conditioned. So great prejudging, guys. Finals are gonna be in 6 hours and the fight is gonna be on once again. So what did you guys think of the prejudging? Whom do you guys have winning this show? In my opinion, this isn't a slam dunk by either Nick or Derek, because Derek's side shots, they looked equally impressive as Nick. And he did win the symmetry round as well. But that being said, if Derek has to win this thing, he better show up a lot improved in every aspect at the finals. And he's really gonna have to fight for this one. Now I do want to point out that later during the prejudging, Nick wasn't in total control of his midsection at all times, especially during those transitions. So this might hurt Nick, because the judges, they do take notice of that the entire time you are up on that stage. So do let me know what you guys think. But again, I'm gonna say, this is gonna be a close fight for sure. So that's it from the men's open prejudging. Hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.